Hey, what's up, everyone? So, I wanted to do a video today about really the two most common errors that I see when we break down people when they're sprinting or going through some type of acceleration. I think that it's going to be something that even in the top sprinters or runners, you see some type of these same type of problems. It's just the ability to kind of control it or a good ability to compensate for it. Really, the whole what having good athleticism is also having a very good understanding of compensation and how you can still accomplish what you need to accomplish, but have a healthy way of compensating for it too. So just to get you some ideas for what we're commonly seeing, and then also some ideas for how to um, adapt to it and utilize it within your individual running. So what you see here is the athlete taking off, and this is what the beginning of what we see as a common problem. So you can see how wide that right foot is, and then when he goes and takes the first step, how far across that comes. So when you're running, what the idea should be is you want to be thinking more like you're running on a train track. And what I mean by that is you want each one of your feet to be right in line with the other one. You shouldn't be running like you're running on a tightrope where your feet are kind of staying right in a line. There should be space between your feet. That's how you know each one of your feet are staying right in line with the last one, and that's where the most amount of efficiency comes from. And that's the first problem that we commonly see, is that people lose that ability to be very efficient in their run because they have a hard time being able to keep each foot going right in front of the other. And what we see with this athlete, it's his right foot. So his left one, you can see where it starts, and he comes back and he lands about in the same spot, a little bit outside. But the right one comes and lands across the body. So we can see where the right one took off, boom, and then we see where the right one landed. Okay, and that's going to happen over and over again, where that right foot's going to continually come across the body as he's sprinting. And so you can see where he started his sprint, which was probably about, I don't know, a yard and a half or yard and a half away from that white line, and he's maybe 6 steps in, and now that left foot is maybe half a yard away from that white line. So he's very quick to eat up that gap between that line. So he's basically having to take more steps within the same amount of time period because he's drifting off to his left. So that's one thing that you really want to be able to focus on. And that's just having a very smooth and efficient leg cycle. It's also having the ability to control your hips. So if you have too much rotation within your hips, now you're going to put yourself more likely for one side to be really dominating the sprint or your running technique or gait cycle, and then the other one just not being as important during the gait cycle, and that's when you start putting yourself at risk for injuries. You want to end up having a good amount of activation between both legs and both the hip flexors and the hamstrings. You start getting into problems when for this athlete, for instance, when the left leg is just not as big during the sprint. It's not, even though it's much more efficient, it's still it's not creating as much force because it just doesn't have the capabilities. You could tell that the right leg is really the dominating force here. Okay, the other thing, now go up to the arm. So the right leg is a dominating force. What goes with the right arm the right leg would be the left arm. It is the big dominating force, and when he's efficient with his right leg, he's very inefficient with his left arm. So we can see how that elbow gets really far away from his body as he's swinging back, but you can see that right arm is much more efficient, and that's staying nice and close into his body, keeping that elbow in all the way through. So a lot of times we see this where there's one side where the arm is very smooth, very efficient. Usually it's on the dominant side, so this is a right-handed athlete, and so his right arm does a very good job of going straight through and straight back, which is excellent, but that left arm is going all the way off to the side, which actually ends up screwing up his ability to utilize that left leg. So it's kind of an interesting thing how it all works, how your right leg, left arm kind of connect. So if you're not using your left arm as efficiently, you're a lot of times using your right leg efficiently, and then vice versa. If you are using your right arm effectively, then you're not using the left leg as effectively. And so the ideology to think here, and this is within our tests, we're always trying to look for how good are you in a reciprocation type of a pattern. So if we're going to use your right arm doing it during a movement and your left leg during a movement, how well are you able to coordinate that movement? Because a lot of times what we see is that people have a hard time being able to figure out how to use both those muscles at the same time and maintain good strength and good stabilization, which ends up being a big problem in terms of sprinting and running and even doing something like, you know, a baseball pitch or throwing as a quarterback, because really what you're doing there is you're moving with your left leg and then you're trying to use your right arm with your left leg. Well, if you don't sync up well within those two joints or those two areas, then it's going to be harder for you to be able to throw 90 miles an hour or, you know, be able to throw the ball 60 yards. So that's something that those guys that have a large amount of velocity on their throw or they can sprint really fast, that's what they have. They have a great ability to connect between their opposite, you know, right arm to left leg or left arm to right leg, whatever the case may be. They have a great ability to do that, and that sets them up for an easier ability to perform. So that's really something to work on. Start using your right arm and your left leg. You know, we do things where we'll connect the right elbow to the left knee and then go back out and extend, kind of like a Superman type of a movement. I think that's great. You could do things where you're holding like a band on your right arm and then trying to do some type of maybe lunge on your left leg or try to balance on your left leg. All these things are very important for building core stabilization and good coordination. So I just wanted to show you again two big things that we see within sprints that end up causing slower times and also can increase your risk for injury. If you have any questions, please email me, Morey, M-O-R-E-Y, at yourperformancelab.com, and also check out some of our content both on YouTube, Facebook, and then also through our own website. We have we have a whole membership series that will give you some more ideas for reciprocation and some good exercises there, and then we'll also go into other sprinting mechanics type videos and also throwing mechanics type videos. So again, check all that type of stuff out. If you got any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Talk to you soon.